Brown Show this week with. It's David Ortiz. Because who else would we start with? When we talk about David Ortiz, we talk about Big Papi. We talk about a player that transcended the sport, who transcended the designated hitter position. Talk about Edgar Martinez all you want. Talk about Frank Thomas all you want. There is not a single better DH in baseball history than David Ortiz. And let me tell you why. And the stats will show that he's better than Edgar Martinez. They're similar sort of to Frank Thomas, but I do think he was better than Frank Thomas. David Ortiz leaves the Twins, and he's kind of a cast-off from Minnesota. Did nothing there. Didn't even play a ton of games. Comes to Boston in 2003. And let's just take a look down memory lane here, everyone. 2003, his first year with the Red Sox, what does he do? He takes them to the ALCS. I mean, a remarkable run. Obviously, we know the story of what happened. Aaron Boone, they fall just short in heartbreaking fashion. So what does he do? He comes back in 2004. The Yankees are down 3-0. And then Ortiz says, I am a member of Boston Red Sox history. Game 4 at the walk-off. Game 5, the game-winning hit. And all of a sudden, the Yankees lose a series. We're talking about a Red Sox team that had a curse of the Bambino going into his time there since 1918. They hadn't won in 86 years until this guy came here. And sure, you could say you had Manny Ramirez, you had a great pitching staff, you had Curt Schilling, you had this, you had that. But how clutch David Ortiz was, it can't be spoken about enough. No one changed the course of a franchise's history more than David Ortiz. From his clutch hits in the playoffs, to what he did off the field, to what he did when there was a time of crisis in Boston. You remember the quote, "This is our fucking city." That's what he said. This is our effing city. That's my David Ortiz impression. This is our effing city. He's the most instrumental figure in the history of the Red Sox, and there's no doubt about it. We're talking about guys who went 0-4 since 1918 in the World Series. They made 4 World Series since 1918, lost all 4. In his 14 years in a Red Sox uniform, they went 3-0 in the World Series. They broke a curse. They became champions, and they became an elite team in Major League Baseball. You went from Yankees fans rocking those got ring shirt everywhere around Boston. Everywhere in New York. We got 27. They have, 3. And 1918 chants. You had, those were heard throughout all of New York, throughout all Boston. And what he did was change that. The Yankees have won 1 World Series since David Ortiz got to Boston. The Red Sox have won 3. The Red Sox have become a respectable franchise. Not that they weren't respectable before, but they were the lovable losers, sort of. They were a team who hasn't won a year, just like the Cubs. Haven't won 106, 107, 108 years now. Not only is that curse gone, the Red Sox are looked at as one of the best franchises in sports. And it wasn't just Ortiz. We know it was a bunch of different characters. But this man, and it amazes me, him driving around Boston in a lift, how you don't know him. The guy is a god. From the comebacks, from the walk-offs, to the quotes, to the celebrations, to the World Series, to what he did with his foundation, saving kids' lives, raising millions of dollars. Say what you want about PEDs. Say all the BS you want about PEDs. The guy wasn't caught. Alex Rodriguez lied. He was caught. There were guys who were caught. I know he was on that list, the Mitchell Report. If he got away with it, he did. You know what? More power to him. He's a Hall of Famer. And for all the people who want to hate, all the Yankee fans who want to hate, all the Ortiz haters who want to hate, it doesn't matter what you say. He did not fail a drug test. The guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer and the best designated hitter to ever live and the most instrumental figure in Red Sox history and one of the most instrumental figures in Boston history. He's more instrumental than Ted Williams. I'm sorry, I said it. David Ortiz is more instrumental in Boston sports than Ted Williams. Was Ted Williams the better hitter? Of course he was. I mean, Ted Williams hit 340 consistently. But David Ortiz is a bigger figure in Red Sox history than Ted Williams. You could call, and Luke's looking at me like I'm crazy, but it's true. I mean, this team was cursed until he came here. Am I right, Sam?
You're right.
Do you agree that Ortiz is bigger? You're also younger, so you're going to say that. You're younger than I am. I'm 25. What are you, 23?
22.
22. But there is no one who did what he did. I mean, this team, it's not going to be the same without him, honestly. It's like you look at the post-Ortiz era. Are they going to go back to their old ways of just being a team that makes the playoffs and fails? You're going to miss so many clutch moments, so many quotes, just how funny he was, how everyone liked him. And really, I'm just looking at the Boston. What he did for Dominican baseball players is mind-boggling. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's one Dominican baseball player that is not like David Ortiz. If he gets a double at second base, he's hung. If there's a Dominican guy, a player at second and short, he's giving him a big hug. And they're going to say, hey, Papi, how you doing? How was your night? Blah, blah, blah. Where are we going this weekend? He's loved. He's like a big teddy bear. Like, Netflix and chill was basically made because of David Ortiz. Because, like, he's a cuddly bear. Red Sox and chill. I mean, Sand's done it before. I mean, Red Sox and chill, man. But really, I mean, just a unbelievable career. A guy who had 17 and 61 in the playoffs was a 401 OBP. A guy who had 10 seasons with 30-plus homers and 100-plus RBIs out of 14. Are you kidding me? 10 out of 14 years. And honestly, I'll say this. Everyone wants to look at Derek Jeter and how instrumental he was to the Yankees' run. I don't think Derek Jeter was as instrumental as David Ortiz. I'm sorry. Derek Jeter was a great player, but there were a lot of other great pieces in that Yankees team. Jeter was phenomenal. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think he changed a franchise like David Ortiz did. I don't think he had the amount of clutch hits like David Ortiz did. Sure, he was Mr. October for a bit. Or Mr. November, excuse me, not Mr. October. Reggie was Mr. October. But, I mean, a lot of people will disagree with that point. But I just think David Ortiz was more instrumental to the Red Sox run than Derek Jeter was to the Yankees. We lose the face of the designated hitter. We lose one of the great players in baseball history. I sound like he's dying. And I still think there's a chance he'll come back, honestly. I still think he might fight for 1 million. And what makes this more phenomenal guy, more weird to me, is he had maybe the best year of his career this year. I mean, talk about going out on top, at least statistically. Obviously, it didn't end well, and I'll get into that in Browns beef for the Red Sox, who were swept away by the Cleveland Indians. Tough series for them, for a team that looked like they were bound for the World Series. Putting that aside, Derek Jeter left the sport looking just awful. Derek Jeter was terrible in his last season. I mean, it wasn't even fun to watch him play. David Ortiz was hitting homers left and right. He hit over 300. Had an amazing year.
Led the league in doubles, RBIs, slugging, and OPS.
I mean, he led the league in 4 categories, and he's retiring. I mean, it's kind of like a cock tease. I hate to go there, but it's a tease. It's like a baseball tease. It's like a tease for a guy to go out on top and then say peace. It's like, I'm trying to think, it's like you just bang the hottest girl you know, and then she says peace.
That's it.
And it's over.
Never
You're like,
again.
but there's more. There's more. I didn't get to take her to Benihana. I didn't get to take her to Six Flags. Like, that one night and that's it? It's over? Anyways, that's my David Ortiz rant on the Jake Brown Show here on Play.it, iTunes, and Spotify.